From domestic violence accusations coming to the surface to being sacked from Rick and Morty, let's talk about the drama surrounding Justin Roiland. The famous co-creator of Rick and Morty faced felony domestic violence charges in 2020. Yep, you heard that right. Roiland was charged with domestic battery with corporal injury and false imprisonment. It was alleged that he unlawfully violated his girlfriend of the time through violence, menace, fraud, and deceit. According to the complaint, the woman was living with him, but her name isn't disclosed in any of the court documents. The complaint stated that the incident took place on the 19th of January 2020 and was filed by the Orange County District Attorney. The voiceover artist had pleaded not guilty in 2020. Not only that, but one of his attorneys wrote his client is innocent and expects that Roiland's name will be cleared soon enough. Since then, the case has had a lot of court hearings and pre-trial hearings, but a trial date wasn't set. You'd normally expect the media to be over news like that as soon as a complaint gets filed, but this wasn't the case for Roiland. The charges dated back to 2020, but were somehow missed by media outlets. Roiland was safe from the raging media until NBC News reported this complaint in January of this year, and boy, did they dig up a lot of dirt. A lot of court records aren't available to the public, but NBC News managed to get its hands on some of them. According to those reports, Roiland was charged in May 2020 and arrested the same year in August. Following his arrest, he was released on a $50,000 bond, but ultimately arraigned in October. Not only that, but a protective order was also filed the same month. As per the court minutes, Roiland couldn't harass, threaten, or surveil the victim. Sounds like a restraining order to me, because he can't go within 100 feet of the person. On top of that, he was ordered to turn in any firearms that he possessed. Other details were withheld from the public and sealed. But NBC News found out because there was a pre-trial hearing in January. The hearing was brief, but Roiland's attorney reported that there was a plea offer available to his client, but kept the details under wraps. The court had agreed to meet again on April 27th for the second pre-trial hearing. But while they were waiting and hoping for the case to be dismissed, staffers of the show grew worried and wrote a letter to the distributors. They urged them to clarify Roiland's position on the show, and, well, Adult Swim and Hulu Originals were quick to respond. Roiland co-created Adult Swim's Rick and Morty and voiced both the iconic characters. The show became a viral adult comedy TV series, with season 7 currently in the works. Being so involved in the production of such a successful series can only mean one thing: that the violence charges would make the show suffer too. And that is exactly what happened. Adult Swim executives announced they ended their association with the alleged perpetrator. They cut ties with him and reported that the roles would be recast. So if you are a Rick and Morty fan, don't be surprised if you notice a voice change in the new season. Anywho, Roiland didn't only co-create Rick and Morty, he also co-created and voiced the main character in Solar Opposites. This show debuted in 2020 by Hulu's Original and was renewed for a 5th season. Adding to that, Roiland was also associated with Hulu's Koala Man series, the keyword being was. After the allegations against him came to light, Hulu also dropped him from his roles and ended their association with him. All 3 of the shows will continue without Roiland. The cherry on top is that Roiland also resigned from Squatch Games, the game studio he co-founded in 2016. Despite all his accomplishments in the industry, he was outcast on a single accusation. The bigger you are, the harder you fall, I guess. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, because following these charges, a lot more accusations came pouring out. The initial case might have just been a floodgate, because, well, let's just say it's opened, and there's no closing it. Seems like the infamous creator had a lot more to hide than just domestic violence. Multiple women started posting messages that they had allegedly received from Roiland. One of them was former Mad Magazine editor Ali Gertz. The editor was a longtime fan of Rick and Morty and was preparing a concept album for the show. She posted an exchange where Roiland requests that she write a song about a very crude sexual act. Not only that, but she reported receiving gifts, and propositions from him. Everything is just not okay. In another instance, he allegedly messaged another woman, suggesting she consider prostitution. He just can't stop, can he? She posted the exchange using an anonymous Twitter account and expressed that she was underage at that time. Adding to the mountain of evidence, old interviews of Roiland are also surfacing. In 2011, he joked on a podcast about being attracted to 14-year-olds who look 18. That's just creepy and predatory. His work used to be seen through a rather comedic lens, but now it's being viewed in a totally different way. Apparently, the staffers of the shows can vouch for his offensive behavior. Many of his colleagues pointed out that his workplace behavior made them uncomfortable for years. While staying anonymous, they shared a lot of instances that happened on the set of Rick and Morty. Turns out, he once brought in an adult film star through the writer's room. He also openly discussed and he was involved in at least one instance of alleged harassment during the third season of the show. This was the first season with female writers. Don't worry though, because in 2020, Cartoon Network carried out a formal investigation against Roiland, but we don't know if any actions were taken. As expected, the network declined to comment. That's not all. Many sources say that Roiland contributed nothing creative to any of the series his name was attached to. Many of his former colleagues say that they haven't heard from him in years because he stopped showing up to the writer's room. He would just record his voiceover at home. Along with that, he isn't even on speaking terms with Dan Harmon, the co-creator of Rick and Morty. The same is said from the colleagues at Solar Opposites and Koala Man. They've never actually met Roiland. How shocking! After all this, the domestic violence verdict finally came in. The prosecutors dropped the charges. The Orange County District Attorney's spokeswoman said that the charges were dropped because of a lack of sufficient evidence. And, well, Roiland was quick to jump on this lifeline. He expressed his disappointment that so many people were quick to judge him based on the words of a bitter ex. He said that everyone just tried to cancel him the first chance they got. He also said that he will move forward, focus on his creative projects, and try to restore his good name. Considering all the information that has come to light, I think the restoration of his good name will be a tad bit difficult. As far as the future of his creative projects is concerned, we know almost nothing. The companies were approached by Variety magazine, but they've declined to comment. I don't know what's in store for Justin Roiland's future after the charges are cleared, but this is all I know about his domestic violence charges for now.